This video is sponsored by Nature Valley Granola Bars, the energy bar nature intended.
All right, everyone. I'm Caroline Kruk.
I'm Julia Monigal.
I'm Amanda Unger.
I'm Julia Marusarz.
And I'm Rosa Abdelfattah.
And today we are going to be talking about gender roles in the Taming of the Shrew. Our thesis says that gender roles in the Taming of the Shrew are harmful to both genders because the woman must be submissive to be desirable, and the men feel the need to constantly prove themselves and one-up other men.
So right off the bat, in the first induction of the book, or the only induction of the book, but the induction of the book, we see the page, which is an actor disguised as Christopher Sly's wife, meets Christopher Sly, and then Christopher Sly immediately wants to sleep with her.
And that is because, she is a female, or he is dressed as a female. He thinks that it's his wife, and that is what he expects. He's been, for as far as he knows, he's been asleep for years, and the first thing he thinks is, oh, this female, this one is meant to serve me. Is that the point you're trying to get across?
Yes.
So basically, it's an example of men having to take control and not letting women decide what they want.
Yeah, pretty much. It's about what the man wants. It's like, oh, I haven't been around for all these years, maybe I could give you something because I haven't been around, but you should give me something because you're the woman and I'm the man. That's what it's pretty much what it's like. Shall we move on to the next passage? So on this page, Gremio basically says, she's too rough for me, and Hortensio is saying, no mates for you unless you were of gentler, milder mold. So basically they're both talking to and about Catherine, saying she's much too aggressive for anyone, any man, to love her. Which is basically just saying, if a woman is aggressive, if she puts herself out there and tries to, if she shows any more power than that man isn't going to find her desirable, because a woman must be submissive for anyone to love her, is basically what this is showing.
So, this passage is showing that Catherine, who is an undesirable, mean, shrew woman, shrew, no one wants to be with her, when on the other hand, Bianca is this modest, listens to what she's told, desirable woman.
It helped portray the difference between them and how desirable they were towards the men, because everybody wanted Bianca because she would end up being very submissive and just listen to what her husband would say, while Catherine, on the other hand, would want to go, she just want to do her own thing. You're just because you're a man doesn't mean you can control me,
Yeah.
So that brings us to our next point. On page 57 in the book, Hortensio just talks to Grumio about how Bianca is the jewel in his life and he can't wait to have her, and that she's such a treasure, which contrasts to how they were talking about Catherine and how she's much more desirable, how Bianca's much more desirable than Catherine.
And in this part of the story, once Hortensio goes on about how, Bianca's so desirable, Grumio brings up Catherine's title, which is Catherine the Cursed, which just furthers the contrast between Bianca and Catherine, and how Catherine is undesirable because she's more aggressive than Bianca, and Bianca will just do whatever her father says.
Yeah, and not only do, the passages you talked about, they show how, a submissive woman is more desirable than an aggressive woman, a shrew. But then I think that kind of ties in with what it's like for men, because I think it shows that the men in the story want to have that power over the female they're courting. They're going to want someone who's more willing to let them have that power than someone who is going to, fight them on it. Because that's, kind of they want to be the man, I guess, is what the reasoning is.
So that kind of ties into the next passage, where Petruchio is basically bragging about how he can get whatever he wants. He can get Catherine. Nothing is a challenge for him because he's like big, tough, buff, rough guy, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he is the real man. He can handle
he's
the challenge
the
that
man.
is Catherine.
He's the definition of a man.
So this plays into the idea of toxic masculinity because, like, at the time in this society, men were taught that they have to lead the woman, they have to be more forward, more aggressive, and they're more capable than women, which sort of teaches them to be more egotistical.
Mm-hmm. I think it's interesting that you said, like, in this society back then, but, like, how do you think this plays into today's society?
I think toxic masculinity can also tie back into today's society because although this was like way back when, there are still men that believe that they should be in charge, they should have the power, even though us women are, we've progressed a lot, we've run a lot of things by ourselves, we're seen as independent, and some men don't like that, so they still hope to maintain that power over a woman, even though that era is technically just over.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I definitely think that men nowadays are less about like, yeah, I have to take control, I have to be the man of the house. I think it's less of that now, but there's definitely still men out there that act that way and think they have to like treat a woman like she can't fend for herself or something.
And that can also tie back to like how certain people think, because if, say, one person's in a relationship and the man is more in charge, like he does more things for her, it's portrayed to you that if you are in a relationship, then your man has to do that for you. So like if a boyfriend buys his girlfriend flowers every week, you would, like, as a person in another relationship, you would kind of expect that. You'd be like, well, if he can do it, then you can do it. So like it kind of, it ties back into just how everybody portrays the men and the women in a relationship. So on page 101, Baptista, Gremio, and Tranio, who's dressed as Lucencio, are having a discussion, and Gremio and Tranio are offering all their objects in order to essentially buy Bianca. So basically they're offering houses, they're offering crowns, jewels, all in order to buy Bianca. And Baptista is gonna make his decision based on what they can offer him, not what they can offer her. So with Tranio being dressed as Lucencio, he can offer everything because it's not coming from him. And he knows that he'll win over Gremio because Gremio is an old man. He's seen as gross. He's seen as a pedophile. So he won't have as much to offer Bianca as Tranio.
Yeah, and I think like this kind of shows how like they're not offering anything to Bianca. I think Bianca is almost like the object. They're like buying her as if she were an object and not a person, and I think this plays into how women were just seen as objects of desire. They were seen as like playthings that you could, buy, like Tranio and Gremio do. And yeah, I mean the money is going to Baptista, Bianca's father, so she's not really getting anything from this arrangement. It's just she's the object, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, this whole passage is basically just a very good example of objectifying women.
Pretty much, yeah.
In conclusion, the Taming of the Shrew portrays gender roles based on men and women, where women are meant to be submissive to be desirable and men are meant to take charge, which plays into society's view of toxic masculinity.
This was Book Talk with Julia,
Caroline,
Amanda,
Julia.
And Rosa.
See you next time!
bye.